Epilogue. The galaxy moved on. Not immediately, not quickly, but it moved. The 11th Eclipse games had officially entered history. Schools taught it. News networks replayed it. Documentaries began production before the closing ceremony had even finished. Historians argued over it. Former contestants wrote books about it. The galaxy had never seen a games like it, and hopefully, it never would again. On Reach Prime, life had slowly returned to normal. Or as normal as life could be after stopping a galactic civil war, curing an entire population of mutants, and preventing the assassination of the Emperor on live television. Kenny currently found himself confined to a bed, against his will, entirely against his will. The fight with Lord Rain had left damage, a lot of damage, broken ribs, torn muscles, several deep claw wounds. The healers assured him he would recover completely. Celine assured him he would stay in bed until then. Unfortunately for Kenny, Celine outranked everybody, including him.
The bedroom doors opened. Aurora poked her head inside. "Dad?" Kenny smiled. "Yeah?" The young girl looked around conspiratorially. "Mom says you're not allowed to leave the bed." Kenny nodded. "Correct." Aurora grinned. "So if I climbed onto the bed..." Another grinned. "That wouldn't technically be leaving it." Kenny laughed. "That sounds right." Aurora immediately launched herself across the room. Kenny barely had time to brace before she landed beside him. The young girl curled against his side, carefully avoiding the bandages. "Mostly." "Does it hurt?" Kenny looked down at her. "A bit." Aurora frowned. Was it worth it? The question caught him slightly off guard. He thought about it. Lord Rain, the ceremony, the fight, the scars, the years. Then he looked out the window toward Reach, toward the city, toward the people, toward the future. "Yeah," Aurora smiled. "Good." The young girl seemed satisfied with that answer. Children often had a wonderful way of simplifying complicated things. A knock interrupted the moment. The door opened. The Emperor stepped inside. Aurora immediately sat upright. "Your Majesty?" The Emperor laughed. "You don't need to call me that." Aurora pointed dramatically. "Mom says I do." The Emperor looked toward Kenny. "Smart woman." Kenny nodded. "Extremely." Aurora hopped from the bed. "I'll go tell Mom you're here." The moment she left, the room became quieter. The Emperor walked to the bedside. For a while, neither man spoke. Not because there was tension, because some moments didn't require immediate words. Eventually, the Emperor looked toward the city. "You know." His voice carried genuine emotion. "I never actually thanked you." Kenny raised an eyebrow. "For what?" The Emperor laughed. "That's exactly why I like you." The older ruler shook his head. "You saved my life." Another shake. "You rebuilt a world." Another. "You stopped a war." Another. "You cured the mutants." The Emperor folded his arms. "And then when you finally had the chance to take revenge." His eyes met. Kenny quote, "You didn't." Kenny looked away. "Toward the horizon. I wanted to." The Emperor nodded. "I know." That answer somehow meant more, because he believed him. The Emperor understood exactly how difficult that choice had been. Eventually, Kenny broke the silence. "How's the old man?" The Emperor immediately knew who he meant. "Lord Rain." The ruler exhaled slowly. "Alive." The answer hung in the air. "Where'd you put him?" The Emperor actually smiled. "You'll appreciate this." Kenny looked interested. The Emperor walked toward the window. "The prison is called Blackwater Bastion." That sounded unpleasant. The Emperor continued. "It was originally built for political extremists." Another smile. "Then war criminals." Another. "Then people considered too dangerous to execute." Kenny laughed softly. "Sounds about right." The Emperor nodded. "It sits on a tiny island surrounded by perpetual storms." Kenny blinked. "Really? Really?" The Emperor smiled. "No ships." Another smile. "No transport." Another. "No visitors without approval." Another. "And absolutely no serum." That last one made Kenny chuckle. The Emperor leaned against the window. "The strange thing? What?" The older ruler became thoughtful. "He doesn't speak much anymore." That surprised Kenny. The Emperor noticed. "I know." The man shrugged. "He mostly sits." Another shrug. "Sometimes watches the ocean." Another. "Sometimes asks what day it is." That hit harder than Kenny expected. Not because he felt sorry for Lord Rain,
because he remembered who the man used to be. A force, a tyrant, a monster. Now, just an old man. The Emperor eventually straightened. Anyway, another smile. I didn't come here to talk about him. The ruler extended a hand. Kenny took it. The Emperor gripped it firmly. Thank you. Simple, sincere, enough. Hours later, the Emperor departed. The day passed peacefully. The suns lowered. The city glowed. And somewhere beyond the training grounds, 3 young girls prepared for the future. Aurora, Ellie, Plum. The trio occupied a section of Reach's training fields entirely to themselves, mostly because nobody else could survive being around them for extended periods. The girls practiced wooden dagger drills, terribly. Ellie was the best. Plum followed closely. Aurora mostly improvised. Several instructors had given up correcting her. The girls eventually collapsed into the grass, sweaty, exhausted, laughing. The stars slowly appeared above them. For a while they simply enjoyed the evening. Then Ellie looked upward. You know. Plum immediately narrowed her eyes. That tone usually meant trouble. Ellie pointed toward the stars. The 12th eclipse. Aurora instantly sat up. The 12th eclipse. Plum smiled. We should do it. Aurora gasped dramatically. We absolutely should. The girls looked at one another. A dangerous amount of agreement began forming. Ellie pointed. We win. Plum nodded. We split the prize. Aurora pointed too. And start our own house. The other 2 girls immediately loved the idea. The problem came when deciding the name. That discussion lasted nearly 20 minutes. Most suggestions were terrible, some were worse. One involved unicorns, another involved cake. Eventually, Aurora slammed both hands onto the grass. I've got it. Ellie and Plum leaned forward. Aurora grinned proudly. House Sparkle Doom? Silence. Plum burst out laughing first. Ellie followed immediately. Aurora looked offended. What? Plum could barely breathe. Sparkle Doom? Aurora folded her arms. It sounds powerful. Ellie wiped tears from her eyes. It sounds ridiculous. Aurora pointed dramatically. That's because you're jealous. The girls laughed so hard they nearly fell over. Eventually all 3 stuck their hands together. A childhood pact. Simple, honest, real. 12th eclipse. Ellie smiled. 12th eclipse. Plum nodded. Aurora grinned. House Sparkle Doom. The other 2 immediately started laughing again. Above them the stars continued shining. The same stars Kenny had once looked toward. The same stars Lord Rain had tried to conquer. The same stars Reach now protected. And beneath them, 3 girls dreamed about adventures still decades away. The next generation. The next story. The next eclipse. Waiting patiently for its turn. To be continued.